everyone, and welcome to Freedom Friday, where you learn how to free yourself and live your dreams. I'm Darienne from DariAwakened.com, and I took a little unannounced 2-week hiatus. 2 weeks ago was my 30th birthday. I know I don't look that old. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so I'm the big 3-0 now. I'm like officially an adult and shit just got real. No, I'm just kidding. I actually don't even feel like I'm in my 30s now. I'm in the 30 club now. It's kind of weird, but I don't feel any different. So I still feel like a little kid sometimes, and I still act like one. I'm still going to. So so that was that. And then last week I was not feeling well. I have not been feeling well, and I didn't have a bunch of videos already done and ready to go, so I would have had to make a whole bunch, and you know, it's a lot of work to do Freedom Friday for free, as much as y'all may not know it, but it is. And I'm doing I am currently doing my How to Rock It as an Empath group coaching course. I've been doing for the last 5 weeks. We have 2 more weeks left. Technically, it's 1 more week left because we're on the second to last week right now, and that's been going really well. I also had to cancel Mission Love last week too due to a thunderstorm and not feeling well. So I'm not Superwoman. I'm allowed to take some days off. So I took some days off, but I am back, and it is really freaking hot in my room right now. So I may be kind of like sweating, but today I want to talk about an issue that is the core of what I do. It's what caused me at 14 years old to want to come back to all of the 14-year-olds as an adult and really help and pay it forward. It's the reason I do what I do, and it is depression. I talk about this all the time, how I suffered with depression for many years, over a decade, with a very deep, dark depression, and it ran my life. It was my best friend, very unhealthy best friend, and it was just the core of my whole life for a very long time, and now it's the core of why I do what I do and why I really pay it forward. So today I want to do a little mini series about how I sort of cured my own depression, and what I've done to naturally heal my own depression. I've talked about, embracing your depressive episodes in the past, and there takes a lot of acceptance and looking at it from a different perspective. But the very, very first thing that caused me to start to heal my depression, the first step for me to healing my depression, the natural way, without any drugs whatsoever, no antidepressants, nothing like that. The first thing I did was have an awakening, and it took a real awareness. So that for me was the first step, awareness. Having that awareness, and I'm going to teach you how to have that kind of awareness, or if you know someone that's struggling with depression, the awareness is the key, probably most important part of, it's at least 50% for me of healing my depression and healing myself of depression, even in the moments when I may start to feel a little sad or depressed again. Having that awareness is so imperative. So how I got to even have that awareness was by reading The Power of Now. Y'all know I boast about this book all the time. Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It is such a beautiful, spiritually awakening book, and it really teaches you a lot of ways to to have awareness, and it's all about the moment, the power of now. And having awareness is the most important way to be in the moment. What I realized through awareness was that depression was all in my mind. That I was depressed about, not living up to these expectations of the future. I was depressed about regrets from the past. I was depressed about, feeling sorry for myself for things that had happened in the past. I was depressed because I wasn't in the moment, because I wasn't aware of what was going on. And when I sunk into the moment and I would think, what do I have to be depressed about in this moment? Usually I could feel my own energy. I could say, well, right now I'm alive. I'm alive and I'm breathing. So I don't have that to complain about. There's nobody here around me to complain about. Maybe my room is a little bit messy, but I could change that. I could do something about that. And it's really not bothering me right now. It's not taking away from my life. It doesn't have to take away from my joy. And I would just have these kind of conversations. So the way I started to have this awareness about myself, and the way you can start to have this awareness about yourself, and this stuff will work for anybody. It's not just somebody dealing with depression, but if you are dealing with depression and you are, as desperate as I was to, not go the traditional route of popping antidepressants, and really wanting to do it the natural way, and a way that would last. That was my thing, is that I don't want to depend on drugs. I want to be able to do it on my own. And I want to be able to have those tools in my back pocket at all times and not have to depend on a prescription, which if I miss that prescription, I have an even greater risk of plummeting into depression and suicidal thoughts that, who knows, I could act on if I'm under the influence of this drug, whatever that drug may be. So that was scary for me, and I'd been on drugs as a teenager and I didn't want to go that route. So I was very desperate to be able to find the answer the holistic and natural way. So if you hear yelling, my daughter is doing a she's laughing at me right now. My daughter is doing a iced tea stand right now outside. So if you hear her yelling, that's her. It's my loud daughter. She's like her mama. So anyway, what I would do, and what was suggested by Eckhart Tolle in the book The Power of Now, is I would check on myself every hour. So I would put an alarm on my phone or something like that, and I would ask myself every hour, how am I feeling, both physically and mentally and emotionally? So how am I feeling? What am I thinking about? What are the emotions going on? Am I in the moment? Am I thinking about past stuff? Am I thinking about future stuff? Am I thinking about, am I creating situations in my mind? Because your thoughts your thoughts will trigger your emotions. So you gotta take an account of your thoughts. And this is where you start to take back your power, right? We think that we are this victim of depression, but when you really start to take account for what thoughts are going through your mind, what thoughts you're allowing to go through your mind, and really take responsibility for it and come with it with a sense of responsibility and a sense of just taking charge of your own life. And it's very easy to be a victim. But think about what are the thoughts that are creating that feeling, that sense of being victimized? Because it is a thought in your mind. It's not actually really happening. And that's where the Power of Now really helped me to realize that the past and the future don't exist other than in your mind. They do not exist. There is something you continue to play, like the past is something you continue to play in your mind over and over and over again. It's not happening right now. But because we are such powerful beings, when we replay it in our mind, it makes us think, it makes our subconscious think that it's really happening. And so we go through those emotions again and again and again, and we are creating depression for ourselves by not focusing on the thoughts and not just watching them. So I didn't try to change my thoughts at first. All I did was have this awareness. All I did was take account for them. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What do I really have to complain about right now? Is this something in my mind, or is it something that's happening right in this moment? And just by having that awareness, it actually throws you into the now. It throws you into the moment. So inadvertently, you are dropping those thoughts and becoming very aware and very present. So presence is the antidote for depression. That's like a tweetable moment right there. It really is. Presence is the antidote for depression. And because in the present moment, there really isn't much to be depressed about. And if there's, and Eckhart Tolle would talk about, if there is something going on in your life right now in this moment that you could be upset about, right? So like I said, my messy house, or even somebody hurting you, somebody physically hurting you. If there's nothing you can do about it, one, you either do everything you can to change it, or you accept the fact that it is happening. You just accept it. Because it is in the resistance of the now that we become depressed. So by resisting that present moment, by saying, no, this isn't happening. I'm in a whole nother world right now. I don't accept the present. We cause even more depression. And really resisting depression. This is why I've talked about embracing your depressive episodes in past videos, because just resisting, you know, a lot of times when you're suffering with depression, you get depressed about being depressed and you start to resist it. Why is this happening to me? That's that whole victimization. And then you're just fueling it. You're just fueling it more and giving it life. So the very first step that I took, and it may very well help you, to healing myself of depression and changing my whole perspective about depression and changing my life. I mean, now I teach people about this stuff. This was 6 years ago, and it hasn't, that's not that long ago, and a few short years, and I've created a business out of helping people with what I've been able to heal myself of, and it's really, really beautiful. So it is possible to do this, and I have not taken any antidepressants. I had a doctor try to give me Lexapro one time, and I had a terrible, terrible reaction to it, and never again did I take it other than that one time in the last 6 years, and that was very early on when I first started seeing a therapist. So completely drug-free, and completely naturally, as natural as I possibly could do this, in the best way possible, is how I've been able to really heal myself of depression. And we have our moments. We all have depressing moments, okay? You're still human. Don't forget that. If you suffer with depression, you are still human. You will still have sad moments, okay? Even if you heal yourself of depression, you may heal yourself of clinical depression, but you can't get away from having moments that are a little depressing. And that's okay, my love, that is okay. So it's about changing your perspective about depression. And we're gonna go deeper into the steps that I took to healing myself of depression. But the very first one was setting that alarm clock every single hour. Now, I have had people tell me that every single hour is just too much. And you know what? That's fine, you can stay miserable. Because if you really have been suffering with depression, and you're really ready to change, and you're really sick and tired of being, sometimes you just got to get to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Otherwise, you're not going to want to put in that kind of work. It's going to take work, okay? It's going to take a lot of going against what you're used to doing. You're going to have to completely retrain your brain in order to stop the suffering, okay? But that's how this works. This Freedom Friday is about freeing yourself of suffering and living your dream. And if you've been suffering, you have to change your brain. You have to retrain that brain in order to think different thoughts, to feel different feelings, and experience a whole different life, okay? So the commitment will come in when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, okay? And it took me 13 years to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. It took me 13 years of wanting to die. 13 years of being curled up on that bathroom floor, begging God to take me. 13 years of victimization and feeling like, oh, woe is me. 13 long years of really wasting a lot of my life being depressed and being stuck in the past or the future and not in the moment and not living my life and not living my potential and not singing and not doing the things that bring me joy and not pursuing my dreams and my career. And you know what? It might take you that long too. But I promise you, you don't want to wait that long. You don't want to wait 13 years of being in hell when you could be happy now. Okay? All right, there it is. Make sure you guys join the inspiration conversation on DariaWaken.com and let me know maybe what you think of this video. And if you try this sort of awareness, maybe you could even jot some things down. Let me know how it's going for you. Or if you have any tips on how you've been able to heal yourself of depression completely naturally, please let our audience know. Also, if you have not signed up for Freedom Friday, go ahead and do that on DariaWaken.com and I will send you a free meditation on expanding love so that you can attract love into your life and start to really rewire that brain to start thinking loving thoughts and feeling loving feelings. And it's really transformational. So I definitely advise you go get you some of that and start doing that every day and tell me what changes have been made. And of course, sign up for Mission Love on missionlovemovement.com and you can find out all about that over there. Any other projects I got going on? No, I think that's it. I did just open up the Rockin' Empath Facebook group, so if you are an empath, go ahead over there and we can all connect and chat about being a rockin' empath and not a victimized empath and an impaired empath. And I think that's it. All right. So I will see y'all next week. I love you so, 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 so much. I thank you for all of your support, for all of your love. I thank you for being loving towards each other and supportive towards each other and growing this beautiful community on Daria Awakened, on YouTube, and on Facebook. And I love you guys so much. And I'll see y'all later. Mwah!